We'll get started here in a minute. I waited to go live on, there we go. Hang on, here we go. Share to my personal page. Share now. There we go. Alright, that should be to me. There we are. Close that out. Pull up this live on my computer. And I'll be able to flip you around and show you what I'm working on. Actually, so I just posted a video about this dice bag and its lack of rigidity. But I think that if it's filled up, if I leave the elf weave on the outside and it has dice in it, I think I'm going to leave the elf weave on the outside. I was going to leave it on the inside because it didn't want to cooperate, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to pull these, the leather lace that I used to mock up what it's doing because I got to work on it, right? But I think that the solution is to leave it to where this elf weave is just sitting on the outside, I think. So, anyway, how's everyone doing tonight? What are you guys up to? What's going on? Looks like a gazebo? Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? And that's a kind of... It's what I thought having it inside out would do, right? But having it inside out, I don't know. We'll just have to wait until I make it and then fill it with dice and see how it reacts as to whether or not I keep it inside or outside. No, I'll have to make that decision before then. Anyway, let me get this TikTok camera turned around for you. Let me show you what I'm working on. That should be pretty good right there. Chilling work, making 16 gauge Byzantine while watching machines mill aluminum. Right on. Alright. How's everybody doing today? What's going on? Hi, Jeep and Jamber. How you doing? There's a question I was going to ask you. I forget what it is. It doesn't matter. Oh, I was going to ask you about your Jeep. Sold 40 bracelets. I got to fill the orders. There you go. That's the way to do it. I need to sell 40 bracelets. I don't have 40 bracelets to sell. I need to get through this collection of rings that I have, which is what I'm working on right now, so that I can order rings specifically for certain projects. So that I can do stuff like make 40 bracelets. So I posted a video the other night about someone comparing, or no, it was the kid who's like, the caption was, people who tell me that what I'm doing is not real chainmail. It's like, don't call me, don't come to my house, right? Oh, is this overhead camera on? No, it's not. You can look at my beautiful face for a second. I'm really not paying attention. Come on. go down here. Let's do this. Hang on. Don't do this to me. There we go. Come on, don't do that. I wanted to know what kind of Jeep you had. You know the question, it's why did you print the same piece twice like a dumb, silly person? Alright. DA Customs, thank you for the follow. I'm going to adjust this out of the way of my overhead camera. Come on. The camera moving is like a mini house tour. I'm in the furthermost corner of my basement. And it's just a nook. I will tell you more about that as time goes on. This nook comes up fairly often. But you have a 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee WJ. Alright, I don't know anything particular about that year and model. I was just curious. Because, I know people get big into their Jeeps and my leg's numb. And I need to put my brace on. I really didn't think this through when I started. I was like, oh, I'll just start. Was not ready. I've had a 1970 and 1979 International Scout II that I had big wheels on, 4-inch lift kits. I put a 392 to replace a 345 V8 in the 1970. It's your shrine of devotion and prayer to bend rings to the gods of mail. That's right. And so back in the day when I was young and dumb and had money, I had a 1970 International Scout II that it was pretty cool. A lot of fun. That's the most I've done, like, rock crawling or anything. Bought it with two previous owners at 82,000 miles for $3,000. Nice. I've never owned a Jeep. Probably never will. I don't have anything against them, but there are other vehicles that I want that I've wanted for longer, like a resto-modded 1970s model International Scout II. So International got bought out by Navistar, which got bought out by someone else, or something like that, and now the Navistar and all their brands are owned by VW or something like that. There was a bunch of hands taking over of different manufacturers. And so VW now has the rights to the Scout. And here's an atrocity. They want to make an electric Scout, right? And I'd almost get one. If they put a VW diesel in there, I would get one, absolutely. But I will just have to take a 70s model, resto modded International. Once I get rich, I gotta get rich first. I'm gonna have to get rich to buy any other vehicle at this point. I'm praying that my truck lasts me another 10 years. Right. The other, what I really wanted, I wanted one of the new Broncos, right? Making of Halo Humvee from the sounds of it, yeah. Your second car won't even start currently? Oh, that's no good. That's the worst. I have fortunately kept all the vehicles going. Or, not me. Fortunately, we have all the vehicles going. But I've definitely been at a point where the second vehicle didn't work. And it's like right now, like where are you going to find a new one, you know? But I was saying, I was looking at the Broncos, the new Broncos. I was excited for their release. I was like, okay, it looks like they did a really cool job on the body and everything. Getting the hard top and trying to, you know, go run around in the sunshine just for fun. At this point, I'm not big into trail riding or anything, so I don't know how much of that I do. It would be a parking lot princess for sure, but I still think it would be fun to own one. However, right, they have this tiny little 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine in it, which, don't get me wrong, I got an EcoBoost in my truck. It's got the 2 twin turbos on there. It's cool, but it's a Bronco, and it can only tow 3,000 pounds. Right? I'm like, just stupefied at that fact. Right? Like, it's a toy. And what do you do with toys? Is you collect more toys and you drag it behind your main toy. So I kind of got irritated with the, it's like the engine size is too small, you know? So I've settled on not getting an SUV and hoping to be able to get another truck. I'd like to get an F-250, and I forget what the engine is. It's not the diesel. It's like a 6.9 or 7.1 liter V8 that they have in their F2, that it comes for F-250s and F-350s. But that's a toy hauler, you know? Not that I have any toys, but if I want to get like a camping trailer to tow behind the truck, I could do it in my current truck. But if I traded it in for a Bronco or a electric Scout, I wouldn't get anywhere with that, so. Your second car is also a 99. It was not taken care of previously before you got it? Yeah. I've had those kinds of cars too. Alright. So If you weren't watching at the beginning of the stream, there was a video I actually put out before I started streaming where I was lamenting about the fact that having this strip of elf weave on the inside of the dice bag didn't seem like it was working. And I mocked up some leather lacing through this, right? And then I brought the elf weave to the outside, and it seemed to perform a whole lot more along the lines of what I had imagined in my head, even though having it kind of inside out at first seemed to be the answer. So I think I'm just going to leave it on the outside and then add another strip of elf weave at the bottom on the outside, and then yeah, that's what we're doing. Spare tire was rusted into the trunk because a seal came off and didn't get put back. I believe that. My spare tire in my truck is underneath the bed of the truck, right? And I've never taken it out. I've never seen it. I've had my tires replaced, so hopefully the tire guy checked on it. But I actually need to get new tires. I should ask my tire guy when I get to that point. Hey, babe. Thanks for the love. All right. What else? Okay. So as I was saying earlier, I put up the video of the kid. It's a CapCut theme where he says, "Don't call me. Don't come to my house," right? And and the caption was, "When people tell me it's not real chainmail," and it had a picture of one of my shirts up there. And someone was like, "But it's not real chainmail," right? And I'm like, okay, someone didn't follow directions. I said, don't call, don't come to my house. Also, don't comment. Like, I don't care. Okay? There is either chainmail or there isn't chainmail. It either all is or it isn't. And then he was going on about the pros and cons of real chainmail versus medieval chainmail, right? And here's what my understanding is after having done this for a number of years. Okay? There is medieval iron chainmail that was riveted, that gets, pierced by arrows, spears, polearms, swords, right? And there's plenty of guys that test medieval style armor, and you can watch them just shred chainmail over and over again. Now compare that with butted stainless steel rings. So the metal's vastly superior. Okay? And you can watch people take that and shred it with all different kinds of weapons. Right? So I don't understand the point of arguing which one is better. The differences seem marginal at best. That clip is from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Butter versus riveted, iron versus steel. Yeah. It's like, I will take my chainmail shirt over nothing. But even all the medieval fighting groups that do reenactments and stuff. Okay. They have very specific requirements for their armor. Hey, God. And, Butted chainmail is certainly a no-go. I'm sure that riveted chainmail is a go at some places, and riveted or welded chainmail is a go at some places that I know of. Today's best defense against shady bars and pocket knives. That's about it. And like, I'm obviously not sitting here making a dice bag being concerned about the armor effectiveness of it, right? So you can argue that it's not real chainmail and it's not as protective all you want. But at the end of the day, my titanium jelly cube is going to be cool. Even if it's not up to someone else's standards, right? And it's just, you know, it's a fun hobby to sit and figure out how to make stuff. Tobias, follow the host. Thank you for the follow, Tobias. So anyway, like, I have a motorcycle vest wrapped in chainmail, right? Japanese 12 and 2, covers the whole vest. It's badass. I love it, right? And that would offer me minimal protection against skidding, but certainly more than the leather, right? And it's I'm not worried about being pierced or stabbed, or I'm not picking up a lance on my motorcycle and riding it towards other lancers, though that would be awesome. I should get some plate armor and do that, but not on my bike, on a much cheaper bike. So it's not historically accurate. Well, we're not, you know, I'm not a historian, and this is not medieval times, I guess. I don't know. You think it's pretty cool? Is it Jefe 1968? I think it's pretty cool too. And all the stuff you can do with it, and you know, just making metal fabric and metal chains. Making something that is going to last the next 1,000 years if, you know, adequately maintained and not, like, buried in a muddy pit somewhere. Thank you for the follow, Jefe 1968. One follower closer to the 10,000 needed. We're going to get there one day. But yeah, so anyway, my point is, right, I don't understand their point. But it's fun. It's fun to engage with them. I should start gaslighting them. Right? Be like, medieval chainmail doesn't exist, man. It's all in your head. They didn't really use chainmail in medieval times, man. We're just now discovering it. Which is actually kind of true. We are discovering a lot of it. Over the course of the last 30 years, there's been a ton of weaves discovered, how to use different materials for it. It's crazy. It's crazy. You're in the absolute renaissance of chainmail right now. I am making chainmail, and that is what it's called. I'm making a dice bag. How are you, Skullet? So, let me show you. There's the top, and we're making the body right now, and then we'll just reverse this on the bottom, and all this will be closed up. So, nice, and you're doing good. That's good to hear. How's the view over on TikTok? What are we looking at over here? That looks okay. Yeah, row by row. I'm about halfway done with the sides. And then we'll start putting contractures in, put in another row of elf weave, and then close off the bottom and call it a day. I do need 6, I forget what ring size these are. These are slightly smaller than the 18 gauge 1/4 inch, and they're slightly larger than 18 gauge 3/16, and I don't remember what ring size that is, but it's over there written down on a bag. I need 6 of these in titanium, so I gotta get those, and then once that's done, it'll be all done. But I know someone who probably has some who would love to do me a favor. Jerry Sames, thank you for sharing the live. I do appreciate it. Oh. Can everyone hear the music? I did upgrade. So something happened to my Pretzel Rock subscription, and I don't know what it was, but I was on like a free trial downgrade thing, and it was super lame. So now we're not on that anymore. We're on the standard cool Pretzel Rock. So Tommy Woodcock, thank you for the follow. What else we got? Pretzel Rocks updated. We've got 7 more rows on this, the side walls here. It's about ½ hour per 100 rings. Maintaining that rate. It's going pretty good. What did I miss? I got kicked out about 5 minutes ago when signing on your laptop. Winning lottery numbers. I announced those already. Isn't there some investigation into the lottery? Right? Like everybody knows it's rigged, but apparently like the last 6 people have won in California, and so they looked into it, and there's some scandal coming out now. I don't know. I saw a headline, but it flashed before my eyes and was gone. I try to avoid gambling in any capacity. I learned early on that I have an addictive personality, and so things like gambling and drugs and me do not mix. So I try to avoid them. Your body beats chainmail from someone for cleaning cast iron pots and pans. Best thing ever. That's good to hear. I'm told they work really well. I've made 2 of them. I don't have a cast iron pan to test mine out on, but my neighbor asked for one. I was like, sure, I'll make you one. And I was like, all right, well, since I'm making her one, let me make one for myself. And since I can make it, I did a little differently than most of the ones you see. was at one of our mutual friends' house helping deliver some furniture. My neighbor moved in, had a piece of furniture that the previous owners had left, and they wanted it gone. And so our friend was like, hey, I'll take it. So I loaded it up in my truck and drove it down to their house. And of course, I have an eye for chainmail. Like I notice it, okay? When I see it in movies or, what do you call it? Scale mail. When I see that in movies, like I pick up on that real quick, right? And so I was just walking by their kitchen sink and I was like, oh, you know, my chainmail radar went off. And there it was, their chainmail pot scrubber. Slideshow ended. That's weird. I gotta put some more. Is that it? What? Yes, that. Close. There it is. I gotta put some more photos. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm looking for photos. Skullet, thank you for the follow. How would someone go about purchasing a piece from me? I mean, I have some bracelets that I've made that I haven't sold yet. But His Excellence Dr. His Excellence Dr. Lamin JB Jam. Hello from Italy. Or good morning from Italy. Good evening from United States. So to buy something from me, like a piece of chainmail, it's not that difficult, but I'd have to get your contact info and just like send you some photos of what I have for sale, right? If you want to buy something to help support me and my work, I have a website. It's myusername.com where I sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories like hooded blankets and car seat covers and coffee cups, and it's all stuff I've designed. Because I want to make all the chainmail I can and then also have my whole house decorated in chainmail. But yeah, just contact me, and if it's a piece of chainmail you want, then and you can contact me on all the regular social media platforms, and also through what do you call it? Through my website. Is it show and tell time? What do you want to see? How long have we been going? Going for 34 minutes. Impromptu commercial time. Alright, hang on. So, I have 2 bracelet styles that I primarily work with right now, but I only have 1 for available at the moment. 1 style available. I have like 9 of them. Then I don't see anything else on that table over there that's ready to go. So there's a Nice change in the sound of the music. I don't know if I particularly care for this song, but let's see here. Oh. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Those are all right. See if I can lay these out in a manner that can be viewed. Two of these do not have clasps at the moment, but I included them anyway. So this is one style of bracelet that I have, right? This dual Byzantine with buckle clasp. It's got some skulls on it. And then just this patterned center stone. Dual Byzantine with the buckle clasp on it. Kind of similar thing here. I had a lot larger selection a while back, but we sold those. And then these two, one's shiny and one's matte, and they're just the center pieces there. There's no additional beads on these, and no clasps at the moment, but that can be changed. So that is essentially what I have for sale. That is chainmail right now. And I do need to make some more pieces for sale, and I have a lot of the supplies already, but it's probably not going to be for a while before I have the funding to get more stuff, more supplies. So come on. And, of course, if you see something you like and you don't want to purchase it from me, you want to learn how to make it yourself, you can always download the MailWorks app in the link tree in my bio and check out the resources in the app. It's designed to help new people and veterans, veteran mailers, keep a large list of resources at their fingertips. And for people who are starting off to go explore all the places they should explore. And if you see something I've made and you want to make it and you have questions about it, by all means, do not hesitate to ask. I will tell you all about it. All right. need to adjust this brace here. Okay. Everything about hosting a live class on weaving? No, I mean, that's okay. No, and I'll tell you why. I am the world's worst teacher. And so I don't do stuff like that. More than willing to show people if they have a question, but the idea of ever running a class was very foreign to me. Very off-putting. So the best I can do is provide a large list of resources for people to go explore and show them what I'm doing and what I'm making and how cool it is. Understandable? Yeah. Just not good at teaching. I don't think that me being bad at teaching would be very understandable on video. People would be like, "Yeah, you're bad at teaching, man." So that's why I don't write tutorials. Oh, look, you made it to 11. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Very cool of you just to swing by. How are your projects coming along? I know you had that large inlay, and then aren't you working on a 200,000 ring jelly cube or something like that? Actually, I have one more jelly cube project left, don't I? I was going to say I'm about jelly cubed out. What will this look like in the end? Good, living the life, waiting for prescriptions to be filled. 750,000 jelly. Oh, man. Okay. So, overkill 798. This is the top of the dice bag, and then we're building the body and the side walls, and basically going to bring it around and do the same thing here at the top on the bottom, right? So we're over halfway done. We just got to finish up the bottom section, basically. Which, if you ever make a dice bag, try to build it from the bottom up. It's easier. That's not the box of rings I want. You saw someone laser engrave some scales on Facebook this morning? Yeah, there's a couple people that do that. I know my buddy Rick does that. I would like a laser one day. But I've ranted about how much stuff I want at this point. Working on your Damascus Claymore tonight. Working on my Damascus tomorrow night too. There you go. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, right next to I'm just south of Milwaukee, right? And they've got the Milwaukee blacksmith up there. And my son went to Old World, Wisconsin, and got to see a bunch of early ways of living when people first moved to Wisconsin. There's a blacksmith up there. So he says he wants to be a blacksmith, and I think we're going to go up and meet with, I forget his name, the guy that runs Milwaukee Blacksmith, and do a class up there. I think that'll be fun. I also live an hour away from, it's a horseshoe store that has like a coal anvil or a coal forge set up with anvils and a lot of farrier tools. And I don't remember the name of their shop, but they're in Burlington. They're an hour away. And so it's nice to, like, you can go there and get set up and everything. You know of him? You can't think of the name? Yeah, I can't think of the name either. It's like Gus or something. You forge, the forge you go to has a bunch of winners and 15 through 20 contestants. Like Forged and Fire contestants. Yeah, okay, Forged and Fire. Yeah, nice. I like that show. Kind of, but had that show never came out, I would have had my own forge and anvil by now. Because, well, I say that, but it's probably not true. But that show came out and the prices of anvils went from, you know, $1.50, $2 a pound to $3, $4, $5, $7, $8, $12 a pound. And I say that, oh, I would have an anvil right by now, but if I wanted an anvil by now, I would have gotten one, right? And I do want one. It's one of those things that I'm just going to have to knuckle down and go just purchase, along with everything else. What's credit card debt? Where do I get my rings from? So these rings are from the Ring Lord. If you download the Mailworks app, there is a list of chainmail suppliers, right? Like We've Got Mail and Bracken Mail. They make chainmail. They do some titanium rings. I don't know if Joe's Chainmail is on there or Ogre Rings, but there's a lot of places listed in the Mailworks app. And these are from the Ring Lord. I currently buy almost all of my stainless from joshdiliberto.com. You inherit a 180-pound anvil from your wife's grandfather. There you go. That's the way to do it. Before my grandpa passed, I asked him if he had an anvil. I could have sworn that I remember him having one when I was growing up. Right? He has a whole workshop out and back where he'd go and tinker around and sort his bolts and screws jars into more bolts and screws jars. And I could have sworn he had an anvil back there somewhere. But before he passed away, I had asked him about it, and he said he didn't, so. And I never saw one back there, but as an adult. You went to Chainmail Joe's for bulk green anodized aluminum. You got like 2 pounds. There you go. Yeah, buy in bulk. Actually, I say buy in bulk. And here I am dealing with the consequences of buying in bulk by having a bunch of rings that I ordered that I don't have projects for, that I'm currently working my way through right now. The ones I'm working with right now, I did have a project for, and they did not end up working out for that. So, but there's a lot of rings that I have that I just ordered a ton of. I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do with this? Now I have a bunch of cool stuff made out of chainmail, but I definitely didn't plan all of it, that's for sure. forget, Centaur Forge, I think is the name of the store out in Burlington. You have a project for it, so it wasn't for nothing. There you go. Do you make tutorials with a chainmail 9x9? Okay. This? No, I don't make tutorials. Where to find a tutorial for that? To be specific, let me think here. Okay. I'm trying to think. In the Mailworks app, right, there's a tutorial section. And it's just a section of where to find a bunch of different tutorials, right? Specifically for the cube, I want to say that 2 places I can think of off the top of my head. The first one is going to be the largest chainmail group on Facebook. It's just Chain, Chain, Mail, Maille. And then the second one is going to be chainmailers.com. All one word. Well, .com's not part of it, but chainmailers, all one word. And the .com. There's probably a tutorial in either of those 2 places, right? But don't hold that to me. So curious, if you aren't expanding each row, why not add 2 rows at a time? Because I'm lazy. I don't want to go and close a bunch of rings. So that I can, what do you call it? Oh, so that I can add 2 at a time. Because I loathe prep work, and doing that would annoy me. It's because I'm lazy. I'm almost 100% we have it in the file section. Yeah. It's the tutorial for the chainmail jelly cube should be in the file section of the chainmail Facebook page. And if it's, I can't imagine it not being there. Right? If it's not there, then check chainmailers.com and Google Jelly Cube. Or no, not Google Jelly Cube. Go to the main chainmail, or the chainmail Facebook page, and search Jelly Cube. Those are the words I'm looking for. And instructions should pop up. Like, I know it's in there, I just don't. If it's in the files or in the main chat area, I don't know. But someone has made one. A tutorial, that is. So, and there are no tutorials in the Mailworks app, just resources for where to find tutorials. If I were to start writing tutorials, I would put them in the app, but there are people who are better at writing tutorials than me, and so I leave them to do their thing and just try and point people in the right direction. Because once again, we go back to what I said earlier about my ability to teach someone something is very poor, and so all I want to do is point them in the right direction, where to go explore to find this, new chainmail hobby that they've discovered they want to learn. And if I get any more involved than that, then they'll stop. That's what you meant by tutorial in the app? Just having a resource listed in there somewhere for where to go and find them, yeah. So 18 gauge 1/8 rings is optimal, and use Jap 4-in-1 weave stacked. Yes, the 18 gauge 1/8 inch rings. The ones I have are from chainreaction.ca, Wally's site, and that is by far the best jelly cube I've done. Right? It's got the most jelly to its cube. And that's the one. I have some more of that ring size that I'm going to add to it. And I'm going to make it quite large over time. Not all at once, but over time. Because I got a rubber band ball that is dying at my bar. And I need a large, ridiculous object for people to say, oh, hey, what's this? Wow, that's cool. Where did you get this? And then I tell them the story of how over the course of nearly 3 decades I learned this mysterious craft. I don't know, I'll come up with some quasi-believable story about slaying dragons and learning secret knowledge from hidden wizards. Definitely want to make something other than jelly cubes for a while. The brass and bronze interlocking ones I just did. That was and then the titanium one. They're both kind of meh. Uh-oh. It's like doubling up the rings on this cube. It worked, right? It's got some wiggle to it, but definitely not a lot. And I don't know if there's a mistake in it or if it's just the rings or what, because it's the top and bottom this way do not match. This is smaller. The sides don't match up, and it's just wonky. The whole thing is just wonky. So I'm not thrilled with it. Still gonna wash it or clean it, etch it, and anodize it. Try to re-anodize it again, but it's not. It was a lot of effort, and just to have it kind of be this meh cube, you know. But you know what? It used up all those rings. I don't have to worry about them anymore. One step closer to cleaning up this mess that's been down here and having something productive to show for it. And then we're going to clean, etch, and anodize this dice bag once it's done. And that should actually take this from this, you know, dull gray to some kind of cool color. So we'll see. And then we'll go buy a bunch of dice and fill it up and put it on the window ledge with all the rest of my stuff. One step closer to chainmail world domination, 100%. One of those things, you know, I enjoy making chainmail, designing chainmail, collecting chainmail from other people. I want to own a Neptunic shark suit. I'd like to own a piece of cane mail. Get some stuff from Mail Tech, which is a Neptunic shark suit, but I'd like something from them directly. You're about 44,000 rings done for yours, about 1,000 short of having 3 full layers of your jelly cube done. 47 more layers to go. Oh, man. Are you making your own rings for that? If you're looking to buy dice, look at one link at a time on TikTok. Are they like specialty dice? Because I was just planning to go to my game store and grabbing a cup of dice from the giant fish tank filled with dice from them. I did grab a bunch of dice previously from them for the smaller. You're getting them from Hyperlinks? Oh, okay, so it's bulk scoops. I gotcha. Yeah, bulk scoops, all random dice. One link at a time. Yep, that's all I need. I don't play any tabletop games, so I have no need to have a dice set. Except to fill dice bags. And I don't make a lot of dice bags. This is, I think, maybe the third one. It's like I have two over there that are kind of standard dice bags. They don't have anything extra in them, really. Not like a strip of elf weave through it, you know, to... They just got your standard expansions and contractions. Not even skilled expansions and contractions, right? A real chainmail artist would hide all his expansions and contractions. That's how you know I'm a fake. Just so you know. I'm a complete fraud over here. Not making real chainmail, and the real chainmail I'm making... Or the not real chainmail I'm making also is not good. I mean, it is, really, but... Really skilled people, like people who made actual medieval chainmail, hid all their expansion and contractions. They didn't use seams like I'm doing. But I love the way seams make a piece of chainmail look. So today I was thinking about how cool it would be to use a rupee wallet or a bomb bag from Twilight Princess for dice. There you go. Alright, so here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows to go. And then we'll start contracting it back in on itself and close off the bottom. We got through the top with seemingly minimal effort to get everything to line up and for the ring count to be correct, so I'm hoping we can do that to the bottom as well. I don't want to have to be hunting down mistakes and tearing stuff apart and putting it back together again. Like I did with the top. That wasn't fun. That was like a whole day's worth of work. tearing off the top portion of this dice bag, putting in the strip of elf weave, and then turning it around and putting it back together. I did not enjoy that at all. But it came out, seemingly it came out correct, because the top of the bag is 48 rings around, the middle of the bag is 96. So if there's a mistake, it's not in the ring count. It has already been an hour. Time does fly. What time is it? 9:11? I'm going to probably get 2 more rows done that time. And that will be what? 4 rows. Tomorrow, start putting in the contractions to close off the bottom. And let's see here. Could we finish it tomorrow? We could finish this tomorrow night. That'd be cool. One more day on this. And of course it won't be finished until it's anodized, but it'll be a nice project completed. I don't think that'll use up the rest of these titanium rings though, so I do have a small cube I need to make for a friend's kid. So if I can use the rest of these titanium rings to make a small cube for him. He's not a child, he's just a friend's son, right? So he's not going to swallow the cube or anything. That will probably use up the rest of these rings, which will be fine. Then we can move on to something else. I've got the 9 feet of full Persian over here that I need to work on. Wow, why did I do that? That was weird. That I need to weave more of. Uh-oh. What happened here? Oh. That's no good. Huh. Okay. My phone was not plugged in. So my TikTok stream died. And now my phone is completely dead. %. I need to actually change this. It's plugged into my computer, or it wasn't plugged in at all. But my USB cord was plugged into my computer, so I'm going to plug it into the wall and it should charge faster that way. The USB thing is not very fast. What was the original reason behind making it 9 feet? I have a large container of rings, that I don't really have a use for. And they're machine cut, so I'm not going to use them for jewelry. I'm going to make several feet of full Persian out of it beyond what I already have and try to make a wall art piece. I don't know if that's the best use of the ring, but I think it can be pretty cool. So it'll be very heavy. It'll be several pounds, right? By the time it's done. And then I'm going to use a large, like 14-inch or 18-inch craft hoop to make it into some kind of wreath. Just a big metal wreath. Too heavy to hang on the wall, but I don't know. Maybe I need to rethink it and do something else. But I just want a project that'll use up all the rings. They're a little... The aspect ratio is a little high for armor, right? And like I said, they're machine cut, so I can't really use them for jewelry. And I have a lot of them, so I need to use them up in something. They're good for like European 6-in-1 and full Persian, and I'm sure a few other weaves, but they make a good enough full Persian that I can curtain ties. You can make whole curtains out of what I have. But yes, you can make curtain ties out of them. Let's see what this says. Maybe curtains. Maybe that's what I should do. No, because really, I mean, the aspect ratio is too high. If they were pulled on, I'm not sure that they'd be adequate for... I'm not sure they'd be strong enough to... I know, they're definitely... The aspect ratio is too high for them to be anything wallet chain related. I haven't made any wallet chains really out of anything less than 16 gauge, and these are 18. $20 maybe? No, they're not 20. I don't know. I'd have to measure them out. I just have a lot of them. Figure out something for them. I was thinking of doing a ringception piece, which is where you make rings out of rings, kind of like this, right? All the rings in this bracelet are made out of other chainmail rings. Where am I at here? But, oh, excuse me. I might do that. You don't fully understand the whole aspect ratio thing? Haven't gotten too far into that yet. So, it's a number that you come up with when you divide the gauge by the diameter. The size of the ring by the diameter, I think. Or the diameter by the size of the ring. I don't remember. There's a tool that is built into the Mailworks app to help people figure out what's what. It's not, I'd like to make it a little more user friendly. But the 18 gauge 1/8 rings that Mike was referencing earlier for jelly cubes, they have an aspect ratio of like 2.7 to 2.9. And so when you're going to purchase rings for a jelly cube, most ring manufacturers list the aspect ratio of the ring, and you can check that to make sure that it'll work for the project that you're using, right? Weaves like Jen's Pinned Linkage or JPL, they have a lower aspect ratio. I think it's in the 3s. Right? And if that gets too high, if someone tries to use a ring with too high of an aspect ratio, it won't work for JPL. Right? So it's a measurement you can come up with. I forget what the actual formula is. I have it written down somewhere. That'll give you a number, and that number will tell you whether or not that ring size will work for that weave. Something some smart people came up with, not me. So. All right. Come on, phone. Sorry. Trying to get my phone to start back up. I can't believe I didn't plug it in and Alright, it's coming along. And when you go, okay, so when you buy the rings, it'll tell you the aspect ratio, right? And then when you look at certain tutorials, if it's a good tutorial, it'll have the aspect ratio written, or a range of from this aspect ratio to that aspect ratio. Does that make sense? Just a way to figure out what works and what doesn't. All right. So my phone dying is another reason why I need to get to 10,000 followers because my computer doesn't die. It's never unplugged. So I don't
An elderly couple was hiking in Boston when they...
Oh, you know what? No, I'm gonna leave it.
Couple was...
Okay, that's enough. phone. Stop making sound. So where was I? Is it just you and me? Looks like it's just you and me, man. Alright, but that's okay. I'll try and finish this row and then try to remember to keep my phone plugged in next time I go live on it. Your laptop is always unplugged. DOA when in need. Oh no. Let's see here. I've had this desk since 2004. My roommate didn't want it when we moved out of DC, and so I took it with me. I've carried it around the States and all the different duty stations I was at, and set it up in every house I had. So my laptop's always been on the desk here. But my next computer purchase will be a huge upgrade to a big PC. Similar to a gaming PC, but instead of having a graphics card, I'm going to have like 1,000 gigs of RAM or whatever I can get my hands on. You've had the desk since you got laid off. Yeah, this is just an old IKEA desk that I'm using. So it comes apart pretty easy. I've had to replace some of the bolts, but that's been it. I don't plan on moving it anytime soon. The only time this thing's getting moved is if I end up magically being able to put the dryer over in this corner where I'm sitting, where it should be, because the dryer in the basement is right behind me about 20 feet, and the back of the dryer is 30 feet from the dryer vent exit out of the house, right? So I want to move it over here for safety reasons, but for some reason it's in the middle of my basement, so I don't know why, but whatever. Right. Yours is in IKEA dust too? Right on. It's like my only piece of IKEA furniture, so it's lasted quite some time. I know you said you were laid off, but there was some work coming up towards the end of the year. So does that just mean that you're chilling on unemployment until the next employment opportunity opens up? Your older desk replaced was IKEA as well. Still have it? Nice. All right. Think you only have 2 months of unemployment left? Oh, okay, before you have to go do stuff. Yeah. Not this year, but last year. I got unemployment for 6 months, I think it was. last year. You were being considered for a manager position there? Good. I think your management material come highly recommended. According to me. I took from February till October. Yeah. I used all my PTO and unemployment, and then I just never went back to work. For somebody else. I work for myself, but you've been laid off twice. Last time unemployment lasted a year. Oof. Wait, the unemployment lasted a year, or you being unemployed lasted a year? Here in Wisconsin, we only get like 6 months. Okay, the unemployment lasted a year. Yep, you pay into it. You help pay for it. Definitely use it. Yeah, definitely. Like, if you're put in that position, definitely take the time off. Life's too short to work continuously for someone else forever. If you get an opportunity to take some unemployment, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And go from working for someone else to chilling in my basement all day, working on projects, whatever I want, you know. My responsibilities are mow the yard, keep the house clean, and cook dinner. Get everyone in the house off to school and work with lunches, and I am a house husband, and I just chill. I can play video games all day if I want. I don't, but I could. I was deeply into Tears of the Kingdom there for a month or two. That game was so much fun. So I got a couple games on the PS5, like Borderlands 2, I think it is. God of War 3 and Ragnarok, both which I never played. It's like I was unemployed and I didn't have anything to do, so I bought a PS5. It'd be swell if your TikTok just blew up, but I have low expectations. Hey, mine too. I'm going to have to grind to 10,000 followers, and then maybe, once I can get the format changed on, because the vertical format of what Streamlabs puts out is just my face over the top of where I'm working, right? Which seems like it's a lot more user friendly if people can see my face. So any of my social media to get that to blow up. I only put energy into TikTok because I have TikTok showing thousands of people some of my videos. If you set your expectations low enough, you can't be disappointed by lousy outcomes. Fair enough. Right? And most of what most of the results I've had have been lousy on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, right? Just garbage doing this, right? But I know that there's an audience out there for this, and I know that people enjoy it because, I can go get several thousand views on TikTok. So if the video is shown to people who share like interests, you get interest, right? But none of the other platforms have ever been as prolific as TikTok has. So I'm trying to put as much time into it as I can. And, obviously, these projects take hours and days at a time to make them all by hand and everything. So I'm not rushing out content every hour like some people are. But both your Instagram seemed like they were going to blow up for a little while, then nothing. Yeah. Instagram's very much a platform for girls with big personalities. All right. Finish that row. Let's see here. Clean this up. I got Facebook to kind of work for a while, but the reach on there, you have to do so much work just to get anywhere with it. It's ridiculous. And the rich. Like if you're verified on, in your social status, we might use up all these rings. Crap. We might run out of rings. If we run out of rings, we can just... Maybe we'll stop at 12. Where are we at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I do one more row and then start closing it up, that won't look too bad. Right? One more row and then close it up. That'd be good for a little dice bag. Because I don't have a lot of rings left. I could weigh them out and figure out exactly how many, but I'm glad I caught that. Anyway, so I submitted all the stuff to get verified on Instagram and nothing happened. That was maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. No, it's ridiculous to try and get anywhere. So, especially on meta platforms. And, I've paid for advertising for my store. And that had some results, but I was never, they have all kinds of little tricks that you can use to get, more clicks and people looking at your stuff. I've had professionals go through and build ads for me and ad campaigns and whatnot, and it didn't matter what I did. It just went nowhere. So I'm not dealing with them anymore. I'm going to just grind my way to the top somehow. So, but anyway, man, I'm going to call it a night a little early because this kind of fell apart. The whole phone dying and everything. But I appreciate you hanging out all this time. I really do. I'm going to go and finish getting ready for the night. All right. And you have yourself a wonderful evening. There's always next time. Yeah. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.